Good morning, John.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing
Good.
all right?
I almost don't even know how to attack these interviews anymore because you guys are 4-7. It's really a tough loss. I think individually you had a good game, but it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think I played pretty good this game, but at the end of the day, we didn't make the plays we needed to make to win the game, and that's ultimately what matters.
John, if I had told you yesterday at, 11:45 a.m., maybe noon, the Commanders' defense, they're going to sack Tommy DeVito 9 times. How much do you want to bet that you're going to win that game? Like, I would guess you might want to bet a substantial amount of money, hypothetically, right, with that sort of performance.
Yeah, no, for sure. 'Cause one thing I know about the NFL, when you lose a turnover battle 6-0 or 5-0, whatever it is, you're not going to win that game. I don't think a team has ever won a game when they lose a turnover battle by 6 or more. So.
Yeah,
as
I'd
a
have to
defense,
find. I'd have to look that up. I do know what Cake said. The last time a team won a game, being sacked 9 times, it was in 1982. Randall Cunningham was the quarterback for the Eagles. So it's a long, long time. Since you're on the defensive line, your 9 sacks. Talk about kind of how you created the chaos. There have been question marks about defensive line pressure without Chase Young, without Montez Sweat. But guys like KJ Henry have stepped up, and Casey Toohill.
Yeah, no, I'm going to give Coach Del Rio a lot of credit. He came up with some great blitzes to give DeVito a lot of different looks, kind of confuse him a little bit, make him unsure what he was seeing at times. And, that definitely had a part. You had Mayo with 2 sacks. You had Jamin with a sack. And then, like you said, Casey Toohill and KJ, they played really well. The game is starting to slow down for them a little bit. So now they're able to go out there and just play fast. And as a defensive lineman, whenever you're playing fast, that's when good things happen. So, yeah, we definitely were able to get after him a little bit.
John, what was it like preparing for DeVito? Because there's not that much pro tape on him. Did you just look at cut-ups of his games in the NFL? Did you go back to some of his college tape? What was that like leading up to yesterday's game?
We looked at the few games he played in the league and a couple games in college, but for the D-line specifically, we knew we had to stop the run. That was our main goal. You stop the run, you put the ball in his hands, and you try to make him beat us. And when he does have the ball in his hands, you get after him and try to make him uncomfortable. So, I mean, the DBs and the linebackers, they definitely watch more particular film on him, but for us, it was more focused on our technique, focus on the things that we got to do, that we felt we had to do to be successful and give our team the best chance to win.
So in terms of stopping the run, it's a weird game because for 3 quarters you were excellent and completely stopped the run. So what changed in the fourth quarter?
Hard to say, man. I mean, in the NFL, if you're not, you can't have the little lapses, you know what I mean? And you give a guy like Saquon an inch of room, and he's going to, take advantage of it. The big run he popped in the third quarter, I mean, that was just bad timing for us. We had a play where me and Payne were dropping out and the ends were coming in, and they ran a toss as our ends were spiking in, which created a shorter edge, and he gets Saquon in space, and he's a dangerous back. So that was just a bad timing for us. But, a couple plays we let him squirt out. We didn't really get the right fit. All in all, I'd say we played pretty good on the run, but at the end of the game, you got to get those stops, and, we didn't get the ones that we needed.
Do you have any insight into some of the explosive passing, plays that they made? It seems like just miscommunication. I'm not sure what it is in the back end.
I would assume it's miscommunication. To be honest with you, I really don't know. I try to stay out of it. I know, the thing that's tough about a DB is when they make a mistake, it's a touchdown or it's for 40 yards. And when a defensive lineman makes a mistake, there's a 50-50 chance nobody will ever know. So
right.
I don't, you know what I mean? I understand the job they have is difficult, so I try not to. I'm a firm believer of if you're giving effort and you're trying to do things the right way, I can live with the result. You know what I mean? Because obviously nobody wants to play bad. No one wants to give up a play. When guys aren't working hard and playing hard and preparing hard like they should, that's where I can't stand. But, I mean, guys preparing hard and they're working hard and just miscommunications here and there. And, I just try to focus on what I can do to help them make their job easier on those certain plays and, kind of go about it like that.
Talking to Jonathan Allen, Pro Bowl defensive end. He's presented by Main Street Bank. Cheer local, bank local. Put their team in your office. Visit mstreetbank.com for more information. I'm trying to figure out the difference in your mentality and mood from the I'm tired of this S guy, which is a few weeks ago, to now? Or is it just resignation? Because at 4-7, barring a miracle, you know you're not making the playoffs.
Yeah, no, I was talking to the guys after the game, some of the guys on the back end. I was like, the thing that some guys might try to do is some guys might pack it in. I mean, it's just a real fact that we're all human, and obviously we're not eliminated from the playoffs, but we have to – we're not going to worry about that right now. We're going to try to take it one game at a time. But what I always try to tell people is even though the chance of making the playoffs are slim, we still have them. Crazier things have happened in the NFL. We're playing for our pride. We're playing for our jobs. And for a lot of guys, legacy is a big thing that they're playing for. So regardless of the record, I know for me, the record we have is not going to change my approach to the game, and it's not going to change my outlook and what I'm trying to do week in and week out regardless. So, I mean, I think guys really got to determine what are they playing for. And again, we're not eliminated from the playoffs. So you just take it 1 week at a time and let the chips stack where they may.
John, I want to get your thoughts on how you've been very supportive of him. You know, you've been, on public saying he's our guy. You think he's going to be our guy here for the next 5-10 years. You struggled a little bit yesterday. I know I'm a fan of the team, and I expect struggles. So, it's fine, whatever. I wish he didn't, but he did. But it doesn't take away all the good stuff that I've seen in the last few weeks, too. Where are you kind of on Sam and where he is in his development?
I kind of feel the same way. I think that in the NFL, every single quarterback struggles. Every single quarterback struggles from time to time. Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, every single quarterback every player who's ever played in this league is going to have a game where they struggle. But the great players can bounce back. One thing I do know about Sam is as frustrating as this loss is, that's just going to fuel him more for the next game. And the mentality that he's shown and the maturity that he's shown and the leadership that he's shown and the intangibles and all that stuff, that's going to lead to him bouncing back and having a phenomenal game next game. So the thing that I love about Sam is when he does have a game like this, I know what kind of game he's going to have next.
Hey, John, this is going to be a tough question for you to answer, but you've been here before Ron Rivera and now 4 seasons with Ron Rivera. On Friday, he was asked a difficult question. You guys are all asked difficult questions. And he said something like, at the end of the day, I know that I changed the culture here and we found our quarterback. Okay, let's focus on the culture thing. Has the culture changed in 4 years, or are you tired of the same mess? Like, I can't figure it out. Like, what has changed about the culture?
In short, I can say yes, the culture has changed. Obviously, I can't get into too specifically how that has changed, but with Coach Rivera being here, he's 100% right. He has changed the culture, and we have found our quarterback. Now, I know fans aren't going to care because at the end of the day, what's important is wins and losses, and we've had our ups and downs for sure. But it was a pretty wild time when I first got here. I can say that.
All right, so let's get into the winning aspect. I think you talked about this. How does the team learn to win? What are things that you can do to learn to win? Because you spoke about this.
Man, that's $1 million question, isn't it? Now, I believe that the more you persevere when challenges come and you overcome hurdles and you win those tough games and you do it, I'll put it like this. I feel like it's like a young shooter who's going through a slump. Sometimes you got to see the ball go through the basket to believe in the process. You know what I mean? And we've done that. Like, we've played tough, challenging games and we've won. Now it's about being consistent when we get in those situations. You know what I mean? So it's definitely tough because I wish I just had an easy answer for you guys. But you got to go through the fire. And when we'll come out on the other side, that's a great question.
Now, I know Jonathan Allen's not going to pack it in, and I don't want you to call any players. I just want you to tell us as fans, how do we, what does packing it in mean? Like, how do we see that on the field? Because I feel like every time NFL players step on the field, they try, but what does packing it in mean to you?
When I say packing it in, you see guys pulled hamstring that normally they wouldn't miss any time.
Okay.
Might become a week or two, you know what I mean? And again, that's not me calling anybody out. I'm just
Right.
saying that's what can happen. But the funny thing is we have everybody who's on the team, they have so much to play for that, like, you can't waste that opportunity to go out there and put film out there and showcase your talents and showcase what you can do. We have a bunch of young guys who are up for contracts, trying to get another contract, trying to break into the starting role, or are starting for the first time. And you know what I mean? They want to go out there and play well. So that's not something this team is going to have to deal with. I can promise you that.
So how does the short week work? You play on Thanksgiving against the Cowboys. Have you started looking at film on the Cowboys? It's a team you're familiar with. Who are you going up against on the offensive line in your matchup? Tell us how this week works for you.
Yeah, so, we kind of have the first half of this morning off. We're going to go in around 2 or 3. And, we're going to be up there for about 5-6 hours. Today's like a Wednesday, so today will be a Wednesday. Tuesday will be our Thursday. Actually, no, today's a Thursday. Then tomorrow will be a Friday, and then we travel on Wednesday. So it's a really short week. So it's pretty much like we just skip Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and we're going straight into our next work week.
So do you guys review film as a team on a short week like this from yesterday?
Not as extensively as a normal week, but we still do, briefly go over what we did wrong, what we did right, break up hour or so, go over the film, try to make the necessary corrections, and then we go straight into meetings for, the next opponent.
When you go through the film, like a guy like Jack, when he's been there quite a few years, does he lead that? Does he get pretty animated, or is it more professional, matter of fact?
There's definitely times where he can't be animated because, it's an emotional game. This is an emotional sport we play, and emotions are going to be high, especially when we're not having the success that we feel like we could be having. I'm not going to say should because, we are what we put on film, but the success that we expected for ourselves.
Is it a unit? I'm sorry. Is it a unit by unit film breakdown, or is it like all the defense watches, defensive film, offense the same?
So I don't know what the offense is, but I know for defense, some games will watch the entire game film as a unit, and the coaches will make their corrections in there. Or, which I prefer, we'll watch like a drive or two, then we'll break it down and go to your respective coaches. That way you can really get into the in-depth coaching. Each group can go at their own pace. And
so you'll be with your line coach, your defensive line coach.
What was it like? I mean, I know how pissed you must have been that you didn't have any hot water after the game. Did you end up taking a cold shower? Is that what you did?
Yeah, man, it was just insult to injury. I just took a cold shower. It is what it is.
Is that what everybody did, or some guys bail and say, "F that, I'm going home dirty"?
That's like a 2-minute shower, though, max, right?
I'm not gonna call anybody out, but there was definitely some guys who didn't shower after the game.
I would be one of them.
Yeah,
Dude, I'm telling you,
I would go home dirty.
I'd wait till home.
I was at a hotel recently. I won't say the hotel, and it was cold water for like 7 minutes. I just kept waiting and waiting, and I was
never would heat up.
No, it finally heated up.
Yeah,
because it was a stunner. Because it is at a hotel, a big hotel. You figure the hot water's going to come quick. I can't do cold showers.
John, without saying, was it an offensive guy or defensive guy that didn't shower?
I'm gonna say it was both.
Multiple.
Nice. Starters or backups?
All right, so now I can't.
He can't do his guys dirty like that.
I saw Terry.
They're already dirty.
I saw Terry after the game. He looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I think Terry probably took a cold one.
May have, yeah.
Nah, Terry definitely took a cold one.
Right. All right, listen, John, it sucks, man. I mean, these are no fun for us. They're no fun for you.
Real quick, though. Will you do Thanksgiving with your family, like, on Friday? Like, how does that work for you personally?
So my wife's family is going down to Dallas. We're going to try to do a little something there. And then I talked to my family yesterday. We're probably going to try to do something on Sunday, which is way after Thanksgiving. But my dad's going somewhere for Thanksgiving back to Cincinnati, and I'm going to be in Dallas. So we're going to all come back and do like a little potluck on Sunday. So that's kind of how we're going to try to go about that.
Nice. All right. Well, hopefully you guys are celebrating a dub.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate it.
That would be nice.
Thank you, buddy.
Right, thanks, John.
It's Jonathan Allen, brought to you by Main Street Bank. Cheer local, bank local. Put their team in your office. Visit mstreetbank.com for more information.